Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 24, text number 6. The chapter is called Matsya, the Lord's Fish Incarnation. Uchavacheshu bhuteshu Charanvayor iveshwaraha Noschavachatvam bhajate Nirgunatvadyo gunai Uchavacheshu bhuteshu Charanvayor iveshwaraha No chavachatvam bhajate nirgunatvadiyo gunai uchavacheshu bhuteshu charanvayor iveshvaraha uchavachatvam 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 bhajate nirgunatvadiyo gunai. More synonyms. Uchavacheshu, having higher or lower bodily forms. Bhuteshu, among the living entities. Charan, behaving. Vayu iva, exactly like the air. Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord. Na, not. Ucha avachatvam, the quality of higher or lower grades of life. Bhajate, accepts. Nirgunatvat, because of being transcendental above the material qualities. Diyaha, generally. Gunai, by the modes of material nature. Translation. Like the passing of air through different types of atmosphere, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing sometimes as a human being and sometimes as a lower animal, is always transcendental. Because he is above the modes of material nature, the material modes of nature, he is unaffected by higher and lower forms.
Подобно ветру, проносящемуся через разные виды атмосферы, Верховный Господь, хотя и принимает облик то человека, то животного, всегда остается вне влияния материальной природы, и потому не зависит от принятой им формы высшей единицы.
Srila Prabhupada's purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of the material nature. Maya Jakshena Prakriti Suyate Saksharam.
Верховный Господь, повелитель материальной природы, моя величайшая практически
Therefore, being the supreme controller of the laws of nature, the Lord cannot be under their influence.
Поскольку Он повелевает законом природы и законом властной жизни.
An example given in this regard is that although the wind blows through many places, the air is not affected by the qualities of those places.
Его сравнивается с ветром, который проносится через много разных мест, но свойства этих мест не влияют на него.
Although the air sometimes carries the odor of a filthy place, the air has nothing to do with such a place.
Хотя иногда ветер несет с собой зловоние грязного места, сам по себе он не имеет к этому месту никакого отношения.
Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being all good and all auspicious, is never affected by the material qualities like an ordinary living being, living entity.
Так и Верховная Личность Бога, сосредоточившаяся в добродетели, в отличие от обыкновенных живых существ, никогда не попадает в влияние материальных качеств.
Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhumte Prakriti Jan Gunan. Bhagavad Gita 13:21.
Пурушах Пракрити Стоном Бхумте Пракрити Jan Gunan. Бхагавад Гита 13:22.
When the living entity is in the material nature, he is affected by its qualities.
Качество материальной природы, а также реальное обыкновение живых существ, пребывающих в материальном мире, но на Верховную Личность Бога эти качества никак не влияют.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is not affected.
Верховная Личность Бога не затрагивается этим качеством.
Disrespectfully, one this considers the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an ordinary living being.
Те, кто не знает об этом, проявляют неуважение к Верховному Господу, считая его
Avajananti man mudha. Parang ajanataha. Such a conclusion is reached by the unintelligent because they are unaware of the transcendental qualities of the Lord.
Такому заключению приходит разумные люди, которые ничего не знают о духовных качествах
Bhuvajnanatimirandasya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Madhavena. So it's said that the Supreme Lord, he appears in many, many different incarnations. We are only given a few of the major incarnations are mentioned. There's maybe about, well, I'm not sure how many are mentioned in Srimad-bhagavatam, but it says that the Lord's incarnations are actually coming constantly, like the waves of the ocean. They never stop coming.
Инкарнации Господа приходят в такой же последовательности, как волны, которые на море постоянно приходят.
So, but the point here in this purport is that although the Lord may appear sometimes in the form of a lower animal, it's not that he has become that lower animal.
Здесь утверждается, что Господь, хотя Он и приходит иногда в форме какого-то низкого животного, но он является этим.
Normally, especially a fish, the species of life in the oceans are considered in the Vedic system of hierarchy of species. They're considered to be very low.
И так, как, например, рыба, она согласно классификации является низкой.
But here the Lord has chosen to appear in the form of a fish.
И здесь Господь показал, что он проявился как форма рыбы.
So, but the fish, the fish in the ocean, they are ordinary living beings who are suffering due to some past karma, some past sinful activities.
И рыбы, которые обычно рыбы, которые плавают в воде, они страдают от кармических последствий своих жизней.
And they're, but the Supreme Lord, he can take any form. So sometimes he takes the form of a fish. And of course, whenever the Lord appears, he appears. He does something extraordinary. He doesn't just come and swim around in the ocean like an ordinary sea life, an ordinary fish. He does not do that. He does something extraordinary. Just like we're reading what was the name of that king that we were just reading about? Satyavata, I think. Anyway, the king who found this incarnation of a fish, he saw the fish, a very, very small fish. But within days, a very short time, that the fish did what an ordinary fish cannot do. He grew and grew and grew so big that even the ocean was not big enough for him. And this fish incarnation actually appears twice. He appeared one time previous to the history, the time we're reading about here. He appeared one time to save the Vedas, to save the Vedas. And then he's come here to again save, but this time he's come to save his devotee or some devotees. From of course these histories that we read in Srimad-bhagavatam, there are lessons with every one.
все истории, которые были в Srimad-bhagavatam, они являются уроком для нас всех.
These stories are not intended to be, you say, entertainment stories. Entertainment means something you just casually read for your own pleasure.
И истории, которые в Srimad-bhagavatam, они изучают, это не истории для какого-то наслаждения,
the Srimad-bhagavatam is the Srimad-bhagavatam is also known as the Bhagavat Purana.
Srimad-bhagavatam также известен под названием Bhagavat Purana.
So Puranas in general are Vedic literatures that are actually, they're histories. But not just any history, they're histories that involve the Supreme Lord. And these histories are Srila Vyasadeva. He didn't create the histories, but he compiled them in these Puranas. Because previously Srila Vyasadeva had written down. First of all, he wrote down the Vedas because previously there was no need to write Vedas because people would have perfect memories and they could hear and remember for their whole lifetime. But Srila Vyasadeva appeared in this world right at the end of the Dwapara Yuga. At the same time Lord Krishna was present. And he was well aware that Kali Yuga was just a few days, few years away from that time that he appeared. And he also understood, because of his spiritual vision, that in Kali Yuga people's brains don't work so good. People would neither be able to understand the Vedas nor be able to commit them to memory as they had done in the previous ages. So he wrote down the Vedas because people would not be able to remember them from hearing. But even after writing them down, he understood that most people were not going to be interested in just hearing, just straight philosophy. He had written compiled the Vedanta Sutras. So Vedanta Sutra means code. It means write this much and it means this much.
коротком изучении должен быть смысл.
But after writing the Vedanta Sutra, even he already saw that people, Mayavadis and so on, could very easily take the words of Vedanta Sutra and twist the meaning to say what they wanted to say.
И после того, как он дал Данту Сутру, решил, что Майавади легко брать Данту Сутру и перегрузить на свой лад и использовать для своих.
So seeing that problem of the Vedas being misinterpreted, then he wrote his own commentary on the Vedanta Sutra.
И видя вот это вот правильную интерпретацию вед, он составил свой собственный комментарий на Веданту Сутру.
And that commentary is the Srimad-bhagavatam. So all the same principles that are in the Vedanta Sutra are expanded upon in the Srimad-bhagavatam. And then he also wrote down the Mahabharata. Mahabharata the word Mahabharata means the great history of India. But he didn't write just the regular whole history of India. He wrote that which was related to the Lord Krishna. And he wrote the Mahabharata is special in that there are these great histories of kings and many things in the Mahabharata, but in the presentation of those histories, there are all the Vedic truths were revealed for the people. They're revealed. Because the people in general, actually it says the women, the Shudras, the people in general were not inclined to just study philosophy. They were inclined towards stories, history. So it's very easy to sit down and listen to these very these stories of kings and all the intrigue and everything that went on in the Mahabharata. It's very easy to listen to all that.
Очень легко сесть и вот послушать различные истории о царях, интригах, которые описаны в Махабхарате.
And by hearing those and repeating them, then gradually people, the general class of people in society, started understanding the actual philosophical teachings that were being you say, built into those histories.
истории, они постепенно на примерах понимают философию.
Okay. Anyway, we started off this whole explanation. It was started off with talking about the incarnation. So the Lord's incarnations, he sometimes appears as in an animal form, but he is not in any way degraded in his consciousness or in his activities as a regular living entity is in those animal forms.
И Господь принимает форму органического человека, он не тратит своих качеств, не попадает в
But unless one hears these histories from someone who's actually in knowledge, then he will probably could very easily come to the wrong conclusion. One would certainly come to the wrong conclusion. Because our experience is that an animal, a fish, for example, is very, very, very low mode of ignorance creature. And if without the guidance and teachings of a self-realized soul, the spiritual master, then we could come to the conclusion that if God appears in the form of a fish or some other animal form, that if he appears in these forms, that maybe he's also a lower personality because he's appearing in that form. We may come to that wrong conclusion.
И слушая подобные истории без объяснения познавшего душ, духовного учителя, можно прийти к неправильному ложному выводу относительно формы или логического мысли.
We may think that God is somehow not degraded, just like these animals. But in reality, this is appearing in some animal form, incarnating in some animal form. It's actually a sign of his greatness, not of nothing else. Yes, here Srila Prabhupada is saying, one who does not know that when the living entity is in the material nature, he is affected by his qualities. If we even as human beings, if we are affected by the mode of passion, then we are forced practically by the material nature to be working very hard for material enjoyment. If we are very much in the mode of goodness, material goodness, we may become attracted to, higher philosophy or music or poetry or different kind of things. But we become attached to we become attached to that particular bodily concept. So in that way, it's described that the modes of material nature, depending on the modes of material nature, even the mode of goodness, we need to try to become transcendental to that. Because if we don't at one point become transcendental to even the mode of material goodness, then we will continue to take birth. We could potentially take birth again and again and again in that mode of goodness, but not become Krishna conscious. Sometimes there are people that are born, and from their time they were very small, they become expert musicians or expert at writing music. Beethoven, Bach, and so on. So someone is born with that kind of ability, it means that they were doing that previously, and their karma brought them to continue that kind of activity. But the problem is, we become attached even to the mode of goodness, we are controlled by it, and we'll just take birth again and again and again. And the point of this purport is that Lord Krishna, he appears, even if he appears in the form of lower animal forms of life, he is not in any way controlled, influenced by that form. Okay. Are there any questions? I will, yes. The verse. Like the air passing through different types of atmosphere, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing sometimes as a human being and sometimes as a lower animal, is always transcendental. Because he is above the material modes of nature, he is unaffected by higher and lower forms. Eighth Canto, chapter 24, verse 6.
why fish means lower animal. But Lord appeared as a fish.
Why is a fish a lower animal than other animals?
Why by Vedic culture fish is lower animal?
I have never read exactly. It could be they're in the ocean, and they're deep down in the ocean. There's hardly any light there. Maybe because they're in the darkness all the time. But I haven't read any specifically. There's an order. There's a hierarchical order that the soul goes up through the different species of life in these incarnations, and the fish is way down towards the bottom.
You said that fish is very low level, even under land.
I believe so, yes. I don't remember the exact order. I'd have to look it up. It's just mentioned in Bhagavad-gita purport somewhere.
It's mentioned in Bhagavad-gita?
Yeah, there's an order. There's a specific order that the soul goes from down and gradually up to the human form. Okay, so that's I don't know. I have not read exactly how why it's that way. I mean, it's just part of Lord Krishna's plan for the soul to progress through the different species of life like that. Exactly, logically why, I have not read, so I don't want to speculate on that.
Я не читал, почему такой порядок можно спекулировать, душа находится на периоде, порядок.
Any other questions? Not right now. Okay, so we're almost out of time anyway. So we'll end today. Tomorrow we'll continue with the next verse. Srila Prabhupada ki